أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن سيدنا حبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, I thank Allah for the ni'mah, the blessings, the barakah, the grace, and all the immense amount of joy that we enjoy in our lives on a daily basis. Alhamdulillah. And we're also very grateful to Allah for today's opportunity to be here for Jum'ah again. A few days ago, you would probably have seen a video that became viral in the social media about a boy who was being bullied in Huddersfield in the UK. A Syrian boy who was chased along the park or school playground or even the outside park, I don't know exactly. And he was then beaten up, pinned down, and somebody tried, the guy who was bullying him, mimicked waterboarding, which is an American invention of torture. You lay somebody down, they're awake, then you cover their face and you put water on their face in order for them to feel that they're drowning. So this boy was saying, I'm going to make you feel the experience waterboarding as he did it. This video became viral. Of course, people have come together, Muslims and non-Muslims, people who are powerful, the media, the politicians. They've all condemned it quite categorically. The only person who hasn't condemned it is our daily fascist, Tommy Robinson. I call him a daily fascist. He's the only one who can incite violence, who can radicalize young people, and create racism and Islamophobia in our country, and walk around free. In fact, not only walk around free, get invited to give lectures, advise politicians, come on media, and recently has been appointed by UKIP, a disgraceful racist political party, as an advisor for some of its work, mainly anti-Muslim activities. Brothers and sisters, a few days ago, in the British Parliament, all-party parliamentary group, all-party meaning all political groups in the Parliament have been working together, and they came up with a definition of what it means to define Islamophobia. What does Islamophobia mean? When I say Islamophobia, some non-Muslims start screaming saying, no, there is no Islamophobia. Some people start saying, no, this is a way of stopping anyone's right to criticize Islam. Well, they've been working for a while, and this is what they wrote. They said, Islamophobia is rooted in racism. And it's a type of racism that targets expressions of Muslimness or perceived Muslimness. It's an interesting definition. I welcome it, and we as Muslim community should welcome it too. Because it's a starting point. Without defining the problem, nobody will be able to find a solution. So it's very simple. They're saying Islamophobia is rooted in racism. It is true, it is rooted in racism. People are targeted and singled out because of their race, their ethnicity, their color. The same may not happen to a white English Muslim, but it will be experienced by brown, black, or any who is not white, in the streets of the UK, in the schools of the UK, in the institutions of the UK. If it's experienced because of their race, then we have to deal with it. So it is rooted in racism. And it is a type of racism that targets expressions of Muslimness. So the fact that you're Muslim, if it's visible, it is targeting your Muslimness directly, or perceived Muslimness. So if you are associated with Islam, with the Muslims, such as the Sikh gentleman who was beaten up on the streets, was wearing a turban. Because turban is associated with Islam and the Muslims, he was attacked. In fact, he was killed. Very sad. So I think it's a good starting point for us to start the discussion amongst ourselves as Muslims. If you agree with this definition, then you should endorse it wholly. If you don't, and if you want to add to it, you should add more. But what we should not be doing is destroying what's been done already. We as Muslims have a very bad tendency. We destroy what's been done for us by a group of people who work very hard. So I welcome it, and I welcome and I invite Muslim communities to welcome it. However, I tell you, there will be opposition from the outside, and already there has been an opposition. They're shouting and screaming like a man or a woman possessed by jinn. No, there is no Islamophobia. I've already heard some people scream. You know, brothers and sisters, they say it's not true, as if it's a bad dream for you and me. As if you and I are having a nightmare. Well, you know what, brothers and sisters? It is not a nightmare. It's a daily experience for Muslims. It's a daily experience for Muslims in this country. When I say daily experience, people question me, saying, why are you saying it's a daily experience? Can you tell me on an everyday basis you've experienced Islamophobia? If I can't individually say I have experienced Islamophobia on a daily basis, I can say collectively we have. And in fact, subliminally we do. And our communities continue to suffer Islamophobia on a daily basis. And I stand by my statement. Let me give you more reasons why I say Islamophobia is real and why we need to challenge it. When you get untrusted looks at your local supermarket because you are brown, wearing a beard or a headscarf, or you're looking Arabic, then you know Islamophobia is real. When you get a sly remark, or you get sly remarks from your fellow Brits while you're walking in your local park because you speak a different language with your friend, or when your children are left by the side while other children play together because your children appear to be Muslim, you know Islamophobia is real and it's happening. When you can see the discomfort in the faces of your neighbor when you walk out of your house wearing a headscarf, or simply you take out the bin wearing your headscarf, or long galabiya, maybe something that you're comfortable at home. You can see the discomfort in the eyes of your neighbors. You know Islamophobia is real. When your bus driver looks at you with suspicion because you are visibly Muslim, you know Islamophobia is real. When your postman talks to you with contempt as he or she reads your Muslim-sounding name, you know Islamophobia is real. When you are called racist and disparaging names while you are negotiating a car parking space or simply driving down the road, you know Islamophobia is real. When you're told that you're not good enough for a job because you're foreign and your foreign-sounding name, you know Islamophobia is real. When the media reports and glorifies the crooks and criminals of our country by the name of your religion, you know Islamophobia is real. When the politicians regurgitate hate mantra they hear from the vile fascists and the racists of our community because they are looking for votes, you know Islamophobia is real. When political commentators, analysts and pundits shout from their television, radio and newspaper soapboxes, no Islamophobia in our country, you know Islamophobia is real. When you are not accepted as an equal citizen in your own country, you definitely are experiencing an epidemic level of Islamophobia in this country. So if somebody says there is no Islamophobia, they are either deluded or they're deliberately twisting the truth. Either they're trying to be fake, pretending it doesn't exist, or they're ignorant about the truth. In either cases, we have the duty and responsibility to tell the world that Islamophobia is nasty, Islamophobia is real, and is being experienced by people in our country, and it is not acceptable. This is not a bad dream, my brothers and sisters. These are more than daily experiences. They are institutional, they are cultural, and they're subliminal. Islamophobia is real, experienced by British Muslims on a daily basis. You know, I have seen and I've heard Islamophobia has become normal in people's dinner table conversations. I tell you, those Islamophobia deniers, why are you questioning the experiences of 3 million Muslims in this country? Why are you resisting the change? There must be something going on. You must be enjoying discriminating with Muslims. You must be thriving with your hatred, and you don't want anyone to expose you. Otherwise, why would you deny the fact that Muslims are experiencing it? Would you deny the same to our Jewish friends? No. When the Jewish community stood up and said, and one politician after another, one institution after another, they told them to clarify whether they're anti-Semitic or not. They all submitted. Eventually they said, yes, if the Jewish community says we're anti-Semitic, then we must be. Why do we not see the same consistency, same standard given to Muslims? When Muslims experience Islamophobia, some pundits in our country resist. Some pundits in our country say, no, it's not happening. In my childhood, my brothers and sisters, I remember experiencing direct violence, direct physical racial attack on myself in my neighborhood in the East End of London as I was growing up. I remember glass bottles being broken on our bodies. I remember car windscreens smashed while I was sitting inside my father's car. I remember dog excrement left outside our door and smeared all over our front door. I remember stones being thrown through our kitchen window. And worst of all of my experiences was one of my neighbor who used to let his dog loose every time I would walk home from my primary school, which was only 2 blocks away. I remember we fought pitched battles to eradicate racism from our country. And I believe we won institutionally, substantially, and legally. It is eradicated from our society. It is not fashionable for you to make racially biased, racially slurred jokes. It's not acceptable for you to behave racially in a racist manner, even indirectly. That's how we've defeated racism. Now in my 40s, and as my children are growing up, we're experiencing a new menacing evil in our society called Islamophobia. This has become normalized, and we must challenge it. It's become acceptable and tolerated by some sections of our society, and we must stand up against them. It has turned fashionable to have a dig at Muslims around dinner table, deride Muslims while people are in their pubs and clubs. Even cracking jokes about Muslims in Islam has become normal, just like it used to be when they used to churn out those sickly, stomach-churning, extremely racist jokes about Irish people and black people. It has become the same today for the Muslims, and no longer will we stand and tolerate such nonsense. Should you ever experience Islamophobia, you should never tolerate it. You should never accept it. My brothers and sisters, just when Muslims were finding their way around the British political and social establishment and structures, we had recently, not that long ago actually, London mayoral candidate, Conservative Party candidate, Jack Goldsmith, calling Sadiq Khan, the Labour mayoral candidate, Mad Mullah Khan of Londonistan. How disgraceful a statement. Was he prosecuted for making such a statement? No. In fact, he stood in the election, he fought the entire election, he lost, but still he can stand dignified in the community making such a remark, never withdraw anything, never apologizing, never saying anything different. This was not the first time this had happened in the Conservative Party. My friends and my brothers and sisters, Conservative Party has been embroiled in Islamophobia and Islamophobic rants in its rank and files, leadership and members, elected councillors, even MPs. Sean Bailey, the current Conservative candidate for the coming election in 2020, London mayoral election, shared a tweet about Muslims, about Sadiq Khan, I remember. More than 100,000 people had seen that tweet, and he then was given an excuse, oh, he doesn't know, he didn't know. That's a bunch of lies. Then recently we have Boris Johnson coming out calling our sisters bank robbers and letterboxes for wearing niqab. One attack after another from politicians. Unless we unite together, unless we have a defined idea of what is Islamophobia, every day somebody will make an attack and get away with it. And you know what, brothers and sisters? It is not simply who said what. It is deeper than that. It demonstrates a systematic demonization of a people. And when you dehumanize a people, you lead them to dehumanization. When you dehumanize a people, you equate them to the states of animals. And genocides and massacre are not uncommon in Europe for people who are demonized, dehumanized, and genocide followed not that long ago. This is the worst history of civilization I can quote. To challenge the tidal wave of Islamophobia, what we need to do, my brothers and sisters, is unite. But before we even take one step further, united, we need to agree on the definition. The definition should be developed together by the Muslim community and the society outside. It should not be just the Muslims talking about Islamophobia. We need to get global, political, public institutions to sign up to this. We need them to adopt the definition with the aims and objectives of placing checks and balances so that anyone suffering Islamophobia at work or any institution, or anyone perpetrating Islamophobic attack on any individual or group, there must be measures both to support the victim and prosecute the perpetrator. Get our UK Parliament to incorporate this in the statute book, in the law, that recognizes Islamophobia as a crime punishable by stringent sentence. We need to hold the media accountable, for media had played a huge role in fanning the language of hate towards Muslims. And I have no embarrassment, I have no hesitation in naming those media. Evening Standard, Daily Mail, Daily Express, Sun newspaper, and occasionally sophisticated Telegraph. And Sunday Times. Some of the Rupert Murdoch's establishment have no shame in attacking the Muslims on a daily basis. And those are the media that have been getting away with murder, creating murderous, hateful environment in our country. It's not very far away from this masjid, just around the corner, where my dear brother Mubarak, who was attacked, right? Makram Ali, sorry. Makram Ali was attacked and died, based on the same principle of hatred towards the people. Changing Islamophobia requires stringent measures. There is a cultural fabric of British society that needs to be changed today. It requires grassroots work, activists from the grassroots, faith and civic leaders to come together, school teachers and parents to come together. Islamophobia will only be eradicated when our kids in the playground feel safe and be completely accepted. Islamophobia can only be defeated when Muslims are accepted, my brothers and sisters, as equal citizens of this country, not merely tolerated. Do you know why? When you tolerate me, you put up with me. You have resentments and grudges about me. The idea of toleration gives an impression of Muslims are unwanted, but since they're here, they will be given a charitable status, survive and speak nothing and keep quiet. No, I don't want such space. I am an equal citizen of this country. You are an equal citizen of this country. Every Muslim is equal citizen of this country. And we are not to be tolerated. We must be accepted as equal in this society. It's only then will we eradicate Islamophobia. Islamophobia will be defeated when Islam is accepted as equal partner to other faiths in this country and no faith and the traditions that we have in this country. Islam has made substantial contribution to the overall development of the Western civilization generally, and Britain in particular. It has the capacity to make more contribution to the happiness and prosperity of our people in this country. The biggest question I need to ask you, and I need to ask my friends out there who are not Muslims, are you willing to accept British Muslims as equal citizens wholeheartedly. That is the test, the litmus test. That is the true test. Are you willing to accept British Muslims with their differences, with their religious differences, with their cultural differences, with their ethnic differences as your equal? If the answer is yes, then we have a unique and collective happy future together. But if the answer is no, then we are all in trouble. And our future is in jeopardy. And our future and the future of our children is in big jeopardy. And I'm asking you, my brothers and sisters in this congregation, and the Muslims across this country, and my non-Muslim friends, for how long are we going to turn a blind eye to the problem of Islamophobia faced by Muslims on a daily basis in our country, in our midst? No more. I tell you again, no more. No more shall we stand bowing down to Islamophobes. No. We'll stand firm and challenge them. We'll defeat them. And we'll create a society that is harmonious, prosperous and happy for all. May Allah make it easy for us. May Allah make it easy for all of us to come together and defeat Islamophobia. May Allah make this country a home for all of us and a successful and a prosperous one. May Allah unite our hearts, enable us so that we can create a better future for our children, for our families, and for people of this country and the world. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wa salatu wa salamu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. The first part of my khutbah was about asking the British people if they would accept the Muslims as equal. The second part of my khutbah is to the Muslims, the same question. Are you accepting this as your country, as your home? If the answer to this question is no, then you're in trouble. Because you can't ride two boats at the same time. You can only ride one. My father's generation rode two boats, and they didn't go very far. If you remain on that boat, you need to choose. You can't have one boat here, one boat in that so-called back home. What is back home? This is home. My father came here in 1957. Allah have mercy on his soul. He died this year in January. My brothers and sisters, he's buried here. He lived in this country for 70 years out of the 90 years that Allah had given him life for. There is no back home. Home is here. So the first question to the British Muslims: do you consider this to be your home? If you've got any doubts about it, let me reassure you, every prophet who came to their people accepted their locality as their home. They did not look anywhere else. Prophet Muhammad preached in Mecca until Mecca became unbearable. He went to Medina. When he went to Medina, he accepted Medina as his home. When he was in Mecca, he accepted Mecca as his home. He was born in Mecca. He was buried in Medina. He was born in Mecca, lived in Mecca most of his life, but led a society in Medina. It shows you the story of Islam and the Muslims. Muslims lived in Mecca, but their graves are found in China. Muslims lived in Medina. Their graves are found in Africa, in Asia, in Turkey, in all parts of the world. Because we as Muslims, wherever we go, we accept that as our home. So the first question for the Muslims: do you accept this as your home? If you do, then you are okay. You are doing good. But if you don't, then there is a problem. Because when you don't accept this to be your home, you also don't accept the responsibility that you have. Firstly, Allah given responsibility to you to share the goodness of your faith with the people of this country. Secondly, to care for the society that Allah wants you to care for. Thirdly, to become beneficial for the world around you. When you don't accept a country as your own, you do not take the responsibility because it no longer is relevant. It's not my home. I'm going to go somewhere else after. Second question to you, my brothers and sisters: do you accept people of this country as your people? Whenever prophets came before, Nuh alayhi salam came to his people. What did he say to his people? Ya qawmi, O my people. When Salih came to his people, what did he say to his people? Ya qawmi, O my people. When Prophet Hud, when Lut came to his people, he said, O my people. When Musa came to his people, he said, O my people. When Isa alayhi salam came to his people, he said, O my people. يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره. Oh my people, they address their people. These are your people. People of this country are your people. Whether they're black, white, brown, Chinese, or any part of the world where they come from, they are your people. If you can't accept that, then you're in trouble. To my Muslim brothers and sisters, do you accept the people of this country as your people? If you don't, then you don't take responsibility for their well-being either. And question number 3 for you, and the final question, are you prepared to do everything possible for the well-being of your environment and people? Are you going to do everything possible to make sure your country is safe, your people are safe? Are you going to do everything possible to feed your neighbor if he or she goes to sleep with stomach empty and you go to sleep with your stomach full? You're not even a Muslim, according to the saying of Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet ﷺ said, he is only a Muslim from whose tongue and hand his neighbor is safe. Are you going to do everything possible to create a space that is safe for the other people around you? Are you going to do everything possible for creating a space that is safe for all people? 3 questions for Muslims and 1 question for my non-Muslim friends. The 1 question that I ask for my non-Muslim friends, are you going to be accepting Muslims of this country as equal citizens of Britain? Only 1 question. Onus for you and I, my brothers, is greater and bigger. You and I have 3 questions to answer. Is this your country? Yes, it is. Are people of this country your people? Yes, they are. And am I going to do everything possible for the well-being of this country? Yes, I am. Does it take away my responsibility globally? No. Of course I'm going to help people of the world wherever they are. Of course I'm going to respond to people who are in crisis, in need. I'm going to do all good things for the world because there is only one world and we are citizens of this world. Of course, but Allah will ask you about your neighbor first. Allah is not going to ask you about Timbuktu. Allah is going to ask you about London, where you come from. Allah is not going to ask you about Sylhet or Somalia, Mogadishu. Allah is going to ask you about London, where you are right now. Your duty is here right now. You think globally, yes, but you act locally. That's why those 3 questions are important. My brothers and sisters, we can only eradicate Islamophobia when we're united and when we know our responsibilities and our roles. We can only eradicate Islamophobia when we are serious about delivering what Allah has sent you and I to deliver. And that is good news. Bashiru, give them good news. Bashiru, give them good news. Give them good news. What's the good news? We're here. That's the best news we can give them. We're here. Why? Because we'll make this country an amazing country. We're here. We make this world an amazing world. May Allah give us the strength to be able to make this world an amazing world. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, accept our dua, Ya Allah. Accept our prayers, Ya Allah. Accept our sacrifice, Ya Allah. Accept everything that we do for you, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin. Free this world from troubles and tyrants, Ya Allah. Free Al-Aqsa from occupation, Ya Allah. Free Syria from the tyrants, Ya Allah. Free Yemen from the tyrants, Ya Allah. Free Yemen from the war, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin. Free all parts of the world from the troubles and the turmoil that is facing it, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin. Give us the strength and the abilities to be able to stand together united so that we can create a home for us in this country. So that we can eradicate Islamophobia from our society. So that we can deliver to the people of this country good news, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, protect our children, Ya Allah. Protect our families, Ya Allah. Protect our neighbors, Ya Allah. Protect our parents, Ya Allah. Protect our brothers and sisters, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون والله يعلم ما تصنعون أقم الصلاة